What's going on, everyone? I'm sure you've been wondering, what are the duo discussions from the Common Collective? So here's a short video to explain like the who, what, and the why. So as a collective, we see the duo discussions as a shorter formed podcast in a way where we can come together one-on-one, whether it's me and Ricky, Joe and Riley, to talk about past experiences, ideas, and skill sets that we have that will provide value in the present, in the future, and in the past if you're a time traveler. So that's what we really see as the value that the duo discussions provide, and we look forward to sharing that with you guys in the future. So yeah, let's get it going.
All right, 3, 2, 1. What is up, guys?
What's good, everybody? This is me and Ricky's first duo. We're coming at you from the Common Collective. We ain't coming correct no more, but we are coming correct. Come
yes,
on,
sir.
Man. But no, this is our first duo. But yeah, I'm gonna let Ricky explain what we're doing. We're really excited to get it started. It's been a long hiatus since.
Yes, it has.
If you haven't seen, go watch our rebrand video, which will be out. Probably the last couple videos. Go watch that. See the reason why we rebranded. What you can expect for the future, but. Let's get right into it, Ricky. What are we going over today?
Yes, sir. Great intro, Josh. Basically, what me and Josh are going to be talking about today is the creative process that both of us use. Obviously, no person has the same creative process as a creative. And we're going to start by going over my creative process. Basically, what we're doing here is I listed out everything that goes into what I do when I'm making a video or producing music or whatever I'm trying to create. To follow that, we're gonna go over Josh's creative process. I'm gonna be asking him about it, and hopefully by the end of it, we can just compare and contrast both of ours, and hopefully you can learn something from this. I mean, we're no geniuses, but we do love creating stuff, so we're here to help.
All right, let's get right into it. We're creating right now. But yeah, I'm gonna start off, look over Ricky's. So he typed some stuff out. I'm gonna go over like the main base like process, and then dive in more to the singularity parts of it. So first, Ricky has the idea, which is the first section. Next is the thought, put in the idea into like an actual thought, where the idea came from, the origin, the process. I put in the idea into like a video, the director's seat, the upload, how you watching this, and the reaction.
Yep.
All right, so the idea, Ricky explained it as an image or feeling that originates from the field of thoughts. This specific image or feeling was attracted to you, the user, or Ricky himself, based on where you are at in your life, physically, mentally, or spiritually. And like the first thing that pops out to me while I'm reading this is, I think it's interesting how you originated the idea not only to like spiritually or mentally, but also physically. Could you like expand on how, if you're in like just a physical location, how maybe you're having like different thoughts? Because a lot of people think it's just like all, I mean, like when you hear thought, it's just like mental, emotional, but like physically, if you're in a certain location, that might change the way you process information, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. I'm glad you said it that way, bro, because like I literally didn't even like think about that when I put physically. But yeah, I can give like 3 examples that tie both physically, mentally, and spiritually all together. The first example I'll use is just being by yourself, wherever you're at physically, by yourself. Sometimes like being isolated for a while can like make you come up with ideas that like you can't necessarily come up with when you're in a big crowd, or you know, you're at a family gathering. You're probably distracted at those places, but when you're by yourself, like any thought, any idea can just come to mind. And then the second example I'll use is running, working out, physical exercise. When you're working out, obviously you're thinking about, you know, like what lift am I doing, or how many miles am I trying to get done? My body hurts, whatever. But during that time, you have literally so much time to just think about ideas, or, you know, like, just ideas basically. And then the third thing I was gonna bring up is, bro, being in nature. Literally some of my best ideas come to mind when I'm in nature. I don't know what it is, but that's where the spiritual aspect can come in a little bit. I know they say
I like how
it's
you
good
tied that
spiritually to be in
together.
nature more. But yeah, those three really, those three locations tie in pretty much all three aspects.
No, yeah.
But
It's funny you said that. I was working out today, and it's just like being in work all day from 9 to 5 and looking at a screen, and then having the ability to just be in your own head and just like
Yep.
it's like when that makes a really good point. When you're by yourself, you're really vividly noticing each and every thought that comes in. But while you're working out, like I just said, it's running. It's more just like how we mentioned it in the last Come and Correct podcast, free thought. It comes and it goes, and you're able to expand on it like afterwards, which is really cool. So I'll keep going through the idea. The last couple sentences say, "This is why no one has the exact same creative ideas. It's all part of what makes every individual unique." And yeah, I think that's really like all forms of art. Your background really shape what you put together and how you put it together. And the first thing that came to mind for me was music. Like people's backgrounds shape what music they're interested in, what kind of like vibe they're feeling, what kind like how other will interpret it. And you being a beat maker, shout out Ricky if you need a beat, go in the description below. But but no, yeah. So how would you say your upbringing, real quick? 'Cause I know we've been on the first one for a good amount of time, but like how would you say just like the way you came up shaped your music taste? Because I know this dude has a crazy music taste. Really can make any beat you want. But yeah, I think that's an interesting question.
No, I'm glad you asked me that because a lot of people will not ask me, but will tell me like I don't think I know anyone that listens to such a wide variety of music and like still enjoys it. And dude, that's literally because like growing up, like I literally like I hated music. Like you can ask like my grandparents or like Riley, like I hated music. And I think because I started off hating music, as time went on, I'd pick up on one like specific sound. Like my cousins introduced me to like electronic music, like Daft Punk. I don't know if you ever heard Daft Punk, but yeah, that was like super popping back in like 2000s, 2010s. But yeah, they put me on to Daft Punk, and that just like opened my mind up to like, oh my gosh, like maybe music is cool. Maybe I do like music. And then Riley, once he started playing basketball, hooping music, you know, Young Thug, Gunna, all those rappers.
Rico.
He put me onto them. Yes, sir.
Sorry, no, that's too far. Free Young Thug, free Gunna.
Yeah, facts. I can't believe I listened to both of them. But no, so I think those two worlds being put together in my mind kind of, not shaped, but crafted my sound when it comes to making beats, because I'd mix in a little bit of both sometimes, or sometimes I'd go one alley and the other. And then like from making beats, like I just started liking every kind of music, because when you make beats, like you just literally appreciate the process that goes behind it. And I can hear anything now and I'm like, yeah, like that probably took a solid effort to achieve that sound. Like, but yeah, I'll cut myself short there.
Yeah, no, when you said that, it's just when I started editing and seeing like the process and this like the amount of attention to detail that goes into editing videos. And when I see like a creative, especially like an animation now, like from what I've seen you talk about and like the things that you do, it's crazy. But yeah, no, we can get to the next one. So that was the first one, the idea of Ricky's creative process. The next one is a thought. We got 3 bullets here. Is it questions? Am I actually able to create the idea that you have from the previous section? Do I have the skills to create the exact image that's in my head? And will I commit the hours to create? Will I commit to the hours this creation will require? And I think these are all really good questions. I don't really know which one to choose, but I think one of the questions that I had first when I read this was, is it always when your idea comes into like the tangible realm and when it's a finished product, is it always look like that first idea that you had, or do you always see like renditions to it? So
yeah, it's funny you like. I just love the way you're like asking these questions, bro. So thank you for that. But no. So I actually like this reminded me. Just to briefly touch on history before I get into the answer. When I was younger, I used to make these short films with my grandpa, because like I always knew this is what I wanted to do. And I would have like this vivid image, exactly what I wanted to make of these like small movies or short films that we make, and it just would never work. I was like, but it doesn't look realistic, you know, because I'd be holding strings up and, you know, playing characters and stuff like that. But now, like, it's taken me 19 years of my life. Now I have the skills to produce the exact image that comes in my head.
That's fun.
And yeah, so like, this is where we can transition to the origin, basically. But
for sure, go into it.
But yeah, that really answers the do I have the skills to create the exact image in my head, to correlate the idea and the thought. When I have that idea, if I know I have the skills to do it, I do it. Period.
Okay. Going into the third one, the origin. So after the thought is the origin. So Ricky says some of the best work that he's had has come from a random what if thought in his head. If the what if seems good enough, he acts on it and it comes into fruition, into the digital image, which you guys are seeing right now. Shout out Rickality. He said that was an idea he had years ago that only made sense to execute in his life now. Going back to like the idea, physical, mental, spiritual, which is really cool.
Yep.
And he's able to make the edits and like become capable to put the idea into like thought or the idea into like the physical realm. So I think this is interesting to go more on like the technical side. What are some, maybe we get this one out quick, what are some skills that you've learned or just like platforms you've learned in the past couple of years to help you like get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say the biggest difference now to get me to the point I'm at right now is I learned how to produce and direct. With Rickality, like, my problem was years ago, I didn't know how to produce and direct. I knew how to put videos together on a timeline and, you know, transition them and stuff like that and maybe throw on some cool text, but I didn't know how to direct you know, my idea, which was turn my life into a TV show or attempt to. So yeah, like learning how to produce and direct just like kind of got me to the point where I was like, okay, like I think I can do this, like let's take a shot. And the product came out pretty well. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means in my mind, but I definitely like I was excited enough releasing it that I knew I was going to continue to release more episodes of Rickality, so to come. But
okay, yeah, no, if you haven't, go watch Rickality. It's right here. Next, after the origin, is the process. Ricky says that the process can be very uncomfortable at times because tracking ideas is easy, but bringing them into the physical world is not always as easy as it seems to be. With Rickality, he had so many different ideas for skits that he could act out. I don't know if that's meant to he couldn't, but that he could act out to formulate the story I tell it in. Maybe I think I was couldn't. That he could act out to formulate the story to tell it in. So he came to find out very quickly that actually acting on the ideas was way tougher than he expected, and he had to become comfortable with acting in certain ways in front of the camera. And that's huge. Just people don't realize the uncomfortable sense of talking in front of a camera, especially in public, even when you're talking in front of a camera by yourself. So that'll be cut out, but so yeah, no, that's one thing. How I've always been interested in that because I've come to get better at that myself, being comfortable with like being me and being in front of the camera, not really caring what other people think. It's not a FU mentality, but in a way it is. It's just like I'm being myself. I enjoy this, and this is how I'm gonna act. So, how did you like walk into that, and how are you still getting better at that?
Dude, honestly, like, I don't know, running has helped me a shit ton to just stop caring about what other people think. I think like just being like in that freedom mind state for however many hours I'm running like helps develop that. But dude, just constantly putting myself in front of the camera, honestly, like it comes from experience, you know, like it's like chipping away at like a rock, and eventually you find the diamond in the middle, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what like the mastery of being in front of the camera kind of comes from. I mean, I'm no master, I'm not near the diamond, but like I know I'm getting there. So yeah,
Fine.
and like to touch on acting on the ideas, dude. We literally talked about this before we hopped on this like actual recording, but like so many people out there are like, oh man, I have this idea, I'm gonna make this like crazy YouTube channel, we're gonna do like, you know, skydiving videos every weekend or some like crazy idea, and then they realize like they can't do it because they get in front of a camera and they like start stuttering and they hate it, or you know, they don't have the funds. They realize there's a lot more that goes into it than you can even imagine until you start doing it. But I mean, we're living it right now, bro.
Yeah,
we're having
it's
a conversation as friends, and we're in front of a camera, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, that's another thing. Like Gary Vee hits on, like even if you don't enjoy being in front of the camera, there's other ways to create content. So I don't think that's like the only way, but it's something that we enjoy doing. This is why we're doing it. But yeah, there's always a plan B to hit the other way. Going into the third to last, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, but I just said it. After the process is the director's seat. And this is the point where Ricky realized he had to direct the subject he wanted to use in order to get like the thought into a tangible product. That was what he was going for in reality. And he had to take a friend of his and ask him to act like a different person for certain parts. Some were all for it and some weren't. And then the question I have for the director's seat is, how big of a part do you think incorporating other people into your creative process is?
Josh, I literally would not be making videos if I didn't have access to other people.
Yeah.
Like, that is my videos.
Yeah.
Go on my Instagram page. Like, it's kind of me. I'm always behind the camera, but like the people and the experiences I have with the people is what makes me keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love doing, you know, like capturing those moments and stuff. Like, I know you have that in your creative process, but that's like huge.
Yeah. Life's all about the
huge.
relationships and people you got. It wouldn't be anything without it. So I think that's.
And honestly, like with the director's seat, like it's hard because you're friends with those people. You know, they're always like part of your life. But like as soon as I got in the director's seat, like for Recality, like just for example, I took Drake out to this like, it's called the Reservoir, and this is the scene where he throws the phone at the very end, and I like I had to redo it a couple of times because I was like, nah, you can't look at the camera, or nah, you have to say this, and like, you know, like at the end of the day it turned out great, but like when I was in it I was like, this is different, you know, this isn't the same as just like, you know, just following everyone around with the camera. Like this time I actually have to drive the content in the direction I want to.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's special about Ricky's content. Like even more of my style is more lifestyle vlogging, on the go, capturing the moment. And then Ricky, what he helped me realize is like when you're going into filming, you need a idea and a process and how you're gonna do it. And the one thing that stood out to me was like, he asked like, what story are you trying to tell in the video? And I was like, oh, I have no idea, dog. Like I'm just filming, I'm just editing, which we'll get into in mine. But yeah, it's a really good point. So after that, the director's seat, you're going into the upload, and after Ricky creates a piece of content, whether that be music or video, he stumbles upon the question of how do I approach this release? Do I care enough about the engagement that comes with it? That's fire. Should I care what others think of it? Was it a good idea? Was it worth that many hours of editing it? And yeah, I think that's one really hard thing about making content and like enjoying it is because like you can't say just like, oh yeah, I made this, I don't care if anybody watches it. Like the point of making, producing, and publishing is for other people to watch. But it's like, it's still at the same time, like even if no one watches it, you still have to be fulfilled because like that's why you did it. So I don't know, that really wasn't a question, but like just how have you gone about that?
I mean, dude, that's been the hardest part about all of it, honestly, is that step right there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to talk with Riley in one of these videos one time about the first time I ever posted a video on Instagram. I had so much content ready, you know, but like, and I knew I could edit all of it, but I just didn't know if like people would like it. I didn't know if people cared, you know, like my social presence like was kind of gone. Like I made an Instagram like 5th grade, didn't post on it for years. So I was like, well, anyone actually watch this video? Like, is it worth the time? And I mean, the answer, like, at least for me, like as long as I get that one comment back, like the answer for me is yes. You know what I'm saying? If one person like texts me or like comments or calls me and they're like, hey, like, I really enjoyed that. Like that was super entertaining and like just never stop. Like just like small like little inputs like that, like that's why I still do it. And I'm not gonna stop until that ceases, you know? But yeah.
Super fire. So the last part of Ricky's creative process is the reaction, which he perfectly just summed up for us. I didn't even realize this. He says, at the end of the day, if someone enjoyed it, I'm satisfied. Why? Because that's why I made the video, to entertain those that are a part of me in my life. So I mean, I don't even know if you need to hit on that mic drop.
Yes,
And that, I mean, I don't know if you want to say anything to the reaction part, but
yeah, I mean, exactly what I just touched on. Like, at the end of the day, if you made one person smile, your impact has been created, and never stop doing that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're making videos, if you're inspiring people through athletics, whatever, like if you can make at least one person smile, never stop. Period.
Hell yeah, that's fire. Well, that's Ricky's creative process. I hope y'all it was some fire in there. You listen to the dude. He's been making shit since 5th grade, as he said. So I think there's some good game in there. But yeah, we've been going for. I mean, so yeah. I mean,
yeah, we do need to see how long we've been going real quick.
23 minutes. So like, bro, that could be
23 minutes. We're chilling. We're gonna break this up into 2 parts.
Do you want to outro that video right now?
Yeah.
Since we're just like in the vibe.
Yeah. Here, I'll hit the outro real quick.
Alright, bet.
So everyone, that'll wrap up the first part of the creative process with Josh and Ricky. That was a really great one. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, me too. It flew by.
And we planned on doing Josh's segment in this video, but we are just talkers. Yeah, talkers talk. So we're gonna be breaking this up into 2 parts. Yes, sir. We're gonna be breaking this up into 2 parts. Tune in for part 2 very soon. All right. Peace.
Deuces.